All right, welcome back, race fans, to another round for the Weathertech series. This time we are in round 3 in the Czech Republic in a track called Brno. It's a very awesome racetrack. It's got lots of hills and lots of undulation, so it's really exciting. It's got a really low valley there after the sector 2 there, coming around that fast hairpin, and then going up the hill into sector 3 and finishing out the lap there. So just to go over really quick on the points recap, we've got in the LMP2 class, we've got Stollard, who's actually come in second place in Algarve and second place in Daytona as well. So he's leading the field right now. We've got Lucky Mouse, who won Daytona and then came in fourth place in Algarve. We've got CMC, who has 16 points, so he came in 5th place in Daytona, and then he came in 3rd place in Algarve. Camaro Ace came in 3rd place at Daytona and 1st place for Algarve, round 2. McCormick came in 4th place and then 5th place, rounding out the LMP grid. And in the GT3 category, we've got myself, RC Speedy Jab, won both Daytona and Algarve. We've got Mr. Big Otter, who came in 3rd for both those races as well. We have IRCHF S7, who came in 2nd place at Daytona and then 5th place at Algarve. ORC Black Ghost has come in 4th place on both rounds for Daytona and Algarve. And Respect That Dawn unfortunately missed Daytona and then came in 2nd place on round 2. So that recaps everything we have going on now. So let's go on board here with, we're going to go on board with the top runners here. We've got 4 LMP cars here. Oh, no, actually 5. I'm sorry. We've got 5, and then we've got 5 GT3 cars as well at Brno. So here, let's get to the replay here. We're starting on board here, and we're obviously already starting the lap right now. And here we go. So let's get on board with Camaro here. Let's get a wide-angle view and coming into turn 1. Very wide open. You can see lots of room going on. Actually, and there was an issue here. Let's actually go back here because there was an issue between myself and Black Ghost here coming into this round here. So you'll see what happens here. Let's get on board with Black Ghost here. Let's pause this. Okay, so Black Ghost. Let's get to a chase cam here. And actually we want this one right here, the GMG Porsche of ORC Black Ghost. Alright, so we're coming into this wide turn. We talked about it later. Black Ghost thought he had Mr. Big Otter coming up on the right side there, and I was on his outside. You can see this track is extremely wide. There's probably 4 or 5 cars you can fit side by side. But he anticipated Mr. Big Otter to come up and actually just kind of went into me a little bit there. Nothing major for me. I'm all the way on the outside of the track, but the unfortunate part is it does make him spin on the inside here, as you'll see, and barely misses Mr. Big Otter and then crashes into the wall. So that was our first major incident that happened there. Slight damage from him, so he's going to be handicapped for the rest of the race, so we'll keep an eye on that. And actually, I do want to go back to trackside cams here. Here's the LMP2 field, and you can see RCHF is now in 1st place in GT3. But here's the LMP field here between McCormick, and I believe that is Camaro Ace and McCormick on the outside there in the yellow. Camaro Ace right up the inside. McCormick runs a little wide, but you can do that. This track is nice and wide. It lends itself to a lot of really tight racing. And then here you see it closes up, which allows McCormick to stay up on the inside. So good racing between these guys right here. Let's go up into 3rd place here with this is Camaro Ace. I'm sorry, in the white car, in the white LMP car. And you can see there's quite a sizable gap already coming between the top 2 there. And Camaro's kind of in the middle of these, and then the other 2 fighting behind there. So I'm sorry, that was CMC and McCormick, not Camaro and McCormick. Let's go on board with Stollard here in 2nd, as he had a little issue there, went off track. And now you can see Stollard there in 1st place. And this is Lucky Mouse we're on board with now. are coming out to finish lap 1. They cross the line pretty close to each other. What are they? 2.1 seconds. And it's already starting to spread out actually pretty good in LMP2. Let's head back to our GT3 runners here. We've got, there we go, the top 3 right there, right close with each other. The 2 Nismos, Nissans in front, GTRs, and then we've got the Lamborghini Huracan of Mr. Big Otter there, tailing from behind. But so I just call him S7 just because it's easier to say. So S7 in the lead here, myself in second place, and Mr. Big Otter in third, and a sizable gap back to Orsi Blackos now in third. So Don had an issue somewhere along the lines, and now he's fallen back. Let's see where he is now. It looks like he's quit out of the race. I did not recall that. All right, so Don out of the race prematurely. I think he had some damage, and ran into the wall or something, and then now he's out. So the rest of the race will have 4 GT3 runners. So basically, you're vying for the top 3, the podium, and then just an extra one. So Ghost has got a lot of work to do here to catch up after that early damage, spinning into the wall there. And we both felt like when we reviewed it later, we looked at all the different angles and stuff and talked about it and stuff. And obviously, there's no hard feelings from me, no hard feelings from him. And it was just one of those things where he was just trying to be extra safe and didn't realize, there was a guy on his outside and inside, just trying to occupy the same part of the racetrack at the same time. So definitely a racing incident, nothing major, nothing, obviously done wrong by anybody. So again, we got top 3 in GT3 there, and let's go with the 3. So Stollard's now in third place. Lucky Mouse has moved up to first place, so we missed a little bit of jostling there. So Stollard must have had an issue. Lucky Mouse has come through. Camaro Ace is now in second. McCormick behind him in fourth, and CMC in fifth. Yeah, let's look at the gaps really quick. Alright, so the gap between Lucky Mouse and first place to Camaro Ace is a little over 3 seconds there, you can see. Then we got Camaro Ace right here in the white car, and Stollard right behind him with 4/10 of a second. Then we've got a big gap between Stollard, or a bigger gap between Stollard, and then 3.7 seconds to McCormick. And then McCormick and CMC, I've got 1.3 seconds to CMC right now. And then CMC to the lead in the GT3, it's 21 seconds. Oh, I thought we lost for a second. Okay. And you can see I'm all over the back of S7 right now. 2/10. I go up the inside here. Kind of leaves the door open. And no, I actually spin right there trying to get on the brakes so I didn't hit him. Little half spin there. And you can see I fall back behind Mr. Big Otter there. Alright, so now we have a gap from Mr. Big Otter to myself, 9/10. And then we've got myself, myself to Black Ghost is 8.6 seconds. And it still says me. Interesting. And then we've got, obviously, with respect to Don, that time's going to keep going up because he's quit out of the race. See if we see any other movers and shakers going on. Looks like the field is kind of stabilizing now. You can see in the top left there, and you can see the track map right there, and that's the distance between where Ghost is right now and the other GT3s. So the GT3s are running really close together, as well as a couple of these LMP2 cars right here. Nice battle between Camaro Ace and Stollard here. Come to this nice chicane. And that's where Don quit out. That's why you see that blue dot there. And now we see McCormick and their CMC coming through the picture there. Let's see if Stollard tries to size him up for a lead. Now Stollard, because of his success so far, Camaro one's right, and that makes it really easy. I was just going to say when he was going to size him up for a move, but just creates a mistake from Camaro, and Stollard's through. We got the next 2 guys battling. You can see back there. McCormick and CMC are really close. There you go. There's McCormick right there in the yellow car. CMC right behind in that pink and black car. So really close racing between a couple of these guys here. Spread out between the field. Must have been some issues, like I said, we missed on board earlier. But these guys are staying together. And then Stollard, I think it was Camaro Ace, were still together too. And that's given Lucky Mouse a good chance to go off there. We see another blue dot up there. Let's see what that's all about coming over here. If we see anything. I don't see anything interesting. So we saw a blue dot from, I think, when Don quit, where he left the track. And there's another one there. So very curious. And this has kind of opened up a little bit, as well as I think that gap. Yeah, that gap to Stollard and Camaro Ace has opened up just a tiny bit. Lucky Mouse here enjoying now a 4.3 second lead in the front there. So let's see if he can just get some ground between himself and everybody else and run away with this a little bit. It looks like the track map on the right side there is a little bit deceiving with a couple of those dots, because we saw somebody right behind him and then they were gone, and now it's back to the same gap we saw before. So here's Camaro again, trying to chase down Stollard. And McCormick and CNC, there's the gap there that we're looking at. Let's go back to, S7 and Big Otter now. So we've got 1 second gap between Otter, and then it looks like they have lost me by 11.5 seconds. I do not recall, actually, that time. We're looking at lap 5 right now, by the way. But here I am coming here. So I think I must have had another spin or something like that in the meantime. And now Ghost has caught right up to me. So I think Ghost went into the pits, right, and had a pit stop in between there to fix that damage. Ghost, you'll have to remind me in the comments, just mention in there if you had already fixed the damage or if you had waited and dealt with that damage and how much you have, if you recall. We do have BOP in this series, so the guys that I mentioned in the first part when we did our points recap have a little bit of BOP or a little bit of restrictor put on them, so I'm one of them. As well as Stollard, Lucky. I think at that point, a couple of guys in each of the class. Basically, Mr. Big Otter had some. Anybody would come in the top 3 is the way it works. So in GT3, the way it works is the top person for that round got 15 horsepower down, and second place got 10 horsepower, and third place got 5 horsepower. So at this point in my car, I am 30 horsepower down, and Mr. Big Otter is 10 horsepower down by doing those 2 third places. And then from there, I think S7 had 10 horsepower, if I remember correctly. But so that's the way to balance this out. I mean, there's different cars and different drivers that will have different strengths and weaknesses on different tracks that they're comfortable with or no. So that's one thing to take into consideration too, as well as weather conditions that may come into play during the series. For this one, we are in clear weather, and I think it goes to a little bit of medium cloud, if I remember. So not too bad as far as that. But the balanced performance is really good because it encourages different winners, and it doesn't allow any one driver to really take off with the championship forever and do that. We also do bonus points for fast lap of the race, as well as the fastest qualifier. It looks like Stollard's catching up on Lucky. That gap is 4.4 seconds. That's actually pretty stagnant from what we saw before. And again, we know Stollard has that BOP as well. Lucky Mouse is in the Ligier Judd, I believe, and Stollard and everybody else is in the Ligier Nissan. So it's slightly different balance, same chassis, but slightly different engine. So the balance is slightly different for those guys. So let's see how long here, or keep an eye on this. So he's already brought it up another 3 to 4 tenths of a second. See, and there's what we're talking about with that on the track map on the right. Look at that. There's 2 dots right next to each other, and that's not true to what we're seeing on the actual, and then it spaces out. Okay. Very strange. Another oddity with the game, I guess. And I wish the position stayed up on the left side. That would be good, but I have to get this menu up for you guys to see those. So we are on board with Stollard right now. Lucky Mouse right in front, and Camaro Ace behind. So I'm sorry, that gap to Stollard is only two and a half seconds. It's the gap to Camaro we were talking about, and that's growing right now. It was 4.3 when we first got on. Now it's over a second more at 5.7 now coming to this corner. But that will ebb and flow. Looks like they're coming up to traffic right now. So let's get on board with Lucky Mouse here, and let's get on with a chase cam, and let's see how he deals with this. He's coming across Oversea Black Ghost. Oversea Black Ghost pinches the corner a little bit and goes over. I go to the normal race line, and we're going to give him the inside here. He's taking a really far inside line. That's okay. We'll let him have that. Those LMPs, ooh, it goes a little bit wide, but does rescue it. I thought he was going to wreck there for a second. Gets by us cleanly, and now you see we've got Stollard coming through. Lap traffic right now between the GT3s. So Ghost just staying out of the way. Stollard jumping back in line. I'm going to stay wide on the outside here, give him the inside, and he just goes right up inside. So let's see if that's closed up a little bit. It's 1.3 seconds. Yeah, that's closed up a little bit. So no time lost. That was a fortunate part to get that. So let's go on board now with Camaro Ace coming through Black Ghost and myself. Come around turn 1 there, the nice right-hand sweeper coming into turn 2, kind of chicane section, quick left and a quick right, and then back on the power hard on this corner right here, clipping all the apex there, a little bit of runoff. That curb on the outside can actually catch the car if you don't have the dampers set up really soft. Couple of gears down here, coming into a really tight section, probably tightest section on the track. Real nice and flowing section. There's the stadium. You can see lots of people up on the side there on the other side. I should be able to nip up the inside of me right here. Perfect, which he does. I just stay on the outside. He nips up the inside, and he didn't lose. It doesn't look like any time at all. Let's see what his gap is now. 6.7 seconds. So yeah, I think he was losing about a second a lap. It looks like according to Stollard's pace. The gap to CMC now behind him is 15.5, so he's fairly comfortable in here, and you see the two white dots up there are coming up on more traffic. So let's go ahead and get on board with those guys. Here goes Lucky coming up to the back of Mr. Big Otter now. So Lucky Mouse taking a nice line into here, staying all the way. Mr. Big Otter decides to stay all the way to the right there, gives him the outside, which you can in these high downforce LMP2 cars. So perfect, good from him. Coming across there, across the leader. So let's see how Stollard handles Mr. Big Otter, and then we can also see Lucky Mouse in front taking on the leader in GT3. A little touch of the brakes there for Mr. Big Otter because he realized he was going to drift wide into the path. So great awareness from Mr. Big Otter there. Alright, here he comes up, Stollard. So Lucky Mouse is already through the leader, but you can see he lost a little bit of time. No, actually, no, he didn't. It's still 2 seconds. Oh, good, nice undercuts. S7 stays nice and wide for that, lets him through. And now we're at a 2.4 gap to Lucky Mouse right now. So yeah, Lucky Mouse actually gained a little bit of that in traffic. So now let's go on board with Camaro coming through Mr. Big Otter here, and S7, the leaders in GT3, number 1 and 2. Big Otter just stays wide, allows him up the inside, which is really nice. I remember one of the drivers, I'm trying to remember who it was in the chat. You guys have to remember too after the race. You guys had mentioned that this is probably the best group you guys have ever run with, just as far as courtesy with multi-class and all that stuff. So remind me who that is. Just mention in the comments if you did say that. I thought that was a really cool statement. Really just highlights just the care and respect that everybody shows in the league, which I thought was really cool. Because this is very cooperative racing, multi-class. Any racing by itself is cooperative, especially in the same class, but I think compounded in multi-class because the closing speed of these LMPs is so much greater, to these cars. So let's see where McCormick is. Actually, it's CMC, I'm sorry. Let's see CMC. He's coming through Black Ghost and Speedy Jab right now, myself. So let's see. He should be able to get him up the hill here. Ghost is going to stay out there, let him pass, and then I'll just take a normal race line. I should. Here, he's not close enough yet to close up. So I'll just take a normal race line and let him come in. A little bit wide for me actually, but he's going to be able to get me on the straight right here. I thought he was going to come in the pits here for a second. So you see the speed differential between the two cars, two classes. Now here comes McCormick. He's still got a ways to get these guys through, but we can stay on board with him. Give McCormick a little time here. We'll go to what do you guys want to see? Let's go to the Trackside Cam. I like the cinematic Trackside Cam, and then when he gets closer, we'll get it on Cockpit. That way you guys can see what he's seeing and what the other cars are doing in particular. So real quick while we watch that, we'll do a quick recap. We've got Lucky Mouse lap 10 out of 35. Lucky Mouse in the lead. Why did that just switch? That was weird. Yeah, I see it just switched from... That's weird. Okay, anyway. We've got Lucky Mouse in the lead. And then we've got Stollard in second. Camaro Ace in third. CMC in fourth. And McCormick here we're on board with in fifth place. We've got IRC... HFS7 in first place in GT3, Mr. Big Otter in second place, Orsi Speedy Jab in third, and Orsi Black Ghost in fourth, and Respected Don has quit out of the race, so he's going to take it home in fifth place there. I think he had 1 or 2 laps before he quit out, but yeah, here comes McCormick now getting closer to the back two runners, third and fourth place in GT3. And we can see we have a spin right there. Oh, that was when I had that spin. All right, I had a spin there. You can see me nose into the wall. So I had a little bit of damage on that. I totally forgot about that. Just trying to get on the power a little too soon. Trying to get past Black Ghost, and or trying to stay with Black Ghost, and then yeah. Now McCormick has it easy going up the hill against Black Ghost. And then Black Ghost comes over to his normal race line. Awesome. Okay, you can't see damage, but. Maybe it'll show it on the front of the car. I did a little bit of damage, a little bit of shock damage, so let's see if I go into the pits right now. I can't recall when I went in. So if the car has shock damage, if it's very minor, you can stay out. If there's aero damage, this course I stay out, so it wasn't that bad. The shock damage is a big deal because the car wants to go left and right sometimes under braking. It'll just, in a straight line, it'll just do that if you have shock damage. So if it's above like 10, let's say, you usually want to come in and because your car's damaged enough to where you're losing time. If it's under that, you're usually okay and just wait till your normal pit stop, because we do have a mandatory pit stop of 4 tire change in this. It's up to you whether you want to take fuel or not. I think some of the LMP runners, I think they do have to take fuel, but the GT3s are fine to do that. So there's a little bit of strategy with them if they want to do half fuel in the car, because there's no extra time to take fuel in this game. It's fueling as you're doing the tires and stuff like that. So there's no time lost. So it really depends if you want a slightly lighter car, easier on tires, that type of thing. But since this is an hour race, and since we do a tire change anyway, your tires can definitely last 30 minutes. Like, that's no problem. They can last probably an hour and a half, usually. Depending on how you take care of them, obviously, how much you slide the car. Physics are totally apparent in this game, just like most sims should be. But yeah. Okay, let's see what's going on. We've got a 1.3 second gap, looks like, from Lucky Mouse here, and Stollard behind. So that gap is closed down again. Was what, over 2.5 seconds, I think, or 2.4 seconds, yeah. So now Lucky Mouse maybe feeling a little bit of pressure, kind of seeing those lights come a little bit closer, although he doesn't have lights on. That orange car is getting bigger in his mirrors by the lap here. And we are on lap 12. We're 21 minutes in, 31 minutes left in the replay here. And you can see now he's really closing up. It's, under a second now, 9/10. So Stollard maybe just finding the balance of that car, now that he's had some BOP and tuned it to the BOP. So he's got a little bit less power than the WRT 47 here of Lucky Mouse. So let's see how he handles this. If he stays to his race line, if he's going to give it up easy, if he's going to make him fight. That's always going to be an interesting part, right? So let's go on board with Stollard from behind here so we can see this. And let's go into a cockpit cam. That's always interesting to see, right? See how much movement the driver is actually doing on the steering wheel itself, not just seeing just the overall position of the car. So you can see he's eyeing up Lucky Mouse here. Let's see where Lucky Mouse brakes. Nice, very late to that corner. Big sweeping right-hander. I mean, there's tons of space you can use here. It's got a little bit of glitchy kind of thing on the replay, but as you come around that corner, let's see where the move is going to happen. Is he going to wait or try to wait until the slowest part of the tracks, just ramming up the inside there? Or is he going to be super patient, take some draft, you know, save a little fuel? Oh, Lucky Mouse goes wide. Never mind, that's the invitation he needs right there. Just wait for a mistake. Now he's going to go up the inside here. And now he's going to take this line. Let's see if there's an undercut coming from Lucky Mouse. Doesn't appear so. Let's go on board with Lucky now. Now we see Stollard in the orange car in front there. So now he's a little bit cat and mouse here, where he's going to follow him. Again, maybe save some fuel here too. I mean, if you stay in, ooh, and Lucky or Stollard there with a big mistake, just sliding off track and into that wall. Looks like he might have missed the wall, but look how much time he lost. That was 2.2 seconds now. So going from the lead to 2.2 seconds in that quick, right? Just by having that half spin, that mistake right there. So don't know, Stollard, you have to let me know, is that too hard on the brakes? Was that too quick on the power? Like what was the issue there? Let us know in the comments so we can have some context for that one. And Lucky Mouse back in the lead here. Let's go on board with, looks like there's a big gap between Camaro and CMC, 23 seconds there. CMC to McCormick now is 18 seconds. That's nothing happening there. IRCHF S7 is now a minute 44. This is him right here. Nice yellow gloves. And he's got some company right behind from Mr. Big Otter still, it looks like. Yeah, 0.8 of a second. So Big Otter really staying on. So let's get on board with this so we can see that Nismo GTR right in front there. So this is the tightest battle, or the closest battle right now I can see on track. Lucky Mouse and Stollard still under 3 seconds, so yeah, let's see if Mr. Big Otter can pull off an overtake as well on S7 here. We'll just see when, I don't think the pit thing comes up when we've pitted, so I'll have to see and keep an eye on that for anybody dropping down the order quickly and see if that's a pit stop. So again, 4-tire mandatory pit stop, tire change required. No fuel. The GT3s can have as much fuel as they want, or if they want a lighter car, you know, they can fuel during the pit. That's up to them too. Lighter car is usually faster, obviously, easier on tires. So it depends. That opens up a little bit of strategy. And we don't have a pit window in this one. In this series, it's pit as you need. Pit whenever you want. You can do that halfway, which a lot of guys tend to do anyways. Or you can do, if you're in heavy traffic and you feel like you're being slowed down, nice strategies. You can pop out of that battle and you can pit early, get it over with. You'll be in clear air. Nobody's going to create a hole in the air for you. So you do have to make your own lap time based on your own pace. But at this track, I feel like it's not a disadvantage at all. So for this track, it's like I said, it's pretty tight. There's not really any massive straights. You know, you're off throttle and on brakes a good amount of the lap, just managing all these tight corners and some of these mid-speed sweepers and stuff, and high-speed sweeper like the first one in turn 1. This is the tight section, like I said, the stadium section we'll call it. They probably do have a name for it, I'm sure, but this is if I ever got a chance to go out there in the Czech Republic, this would be a racetrack absolutely I would go visit. Like, this track is pretty phenomenal. At least it seems that way from here, and I think the render is pretty good. I think it's 3D scanned, laser scanned, and all that stuff. So I think it's really accurate. Let's see if any gaps. So we got a 1.5 second gap between Stollard and Lucky Mouse again in LMP2, and everybody else. This is the next closest gap here. I was watching to see this to see if Mr. Big Otter got a chance to get closer overtake. And S7's holding his own. He's really moving along in that GTR. But so is Mr. Big Otter too. Like he's maintaining that gap pretty good. And you can see the grunt of that that GTR just up the hill, I think, is pretty phenomenal. Both these guys have a little bit of BOP, like I said, but it's just the way in which the cars utilize that turbocharged 6-cylinder ahead. And then, if I remember correctly, is it a V10? Might be V10 in the Lamborghini Huracan, but normally aspirated. So Project Cars 2 does actually a really good job of taking into consideration elevation in real life. So it does sap some of the power from some of the cars based on that too. So I thought that was really cool. And we found that out by testing some of the things, some of the different tracks where it had a higher elevation. We saw an elevation change and a horsepower change elevation. Let's see if Mr. Big Otter tightens this up a little bit. He ran a little wide last time. He does. And now he's half a second, 6/10. S7 feeling a little bit of pressure there. Looks like he was going to go defensive, but then decided to go back to a normal racing line. And now Mr. Big Otter is right on him with 3/10 left. Into the tight section here. He's right on him. We got 2 cars coming up behind. That's got to be the leader. LMP2 leader is coming for another lap on these guys. So good battle between Big Otter and S7 here. Let's see what happens. The couple overtakes are a couple of people that we've seen before, myself included. When they got closer, got a little spin on. So hopefully we don't jinx you on this one, Mr. Big Otter, and you're able to overtake. Hard on the brakes for this right-hander here. Oh, S7 goes wide, and geez, okay. Right into the side of him. S7 started losing out in the middle of the corner, and now you're going to see some of the LMP2 cars come up on the inside right here on the left of Mr. Big Otter. So Mr. Big Otter definitely would have got some damage for that. S7 may not have, just based on the side contact. And who's that behind him now? Oh, dang, he recovered really quickly. Look at this. We're on board with S7 right now. And let's see if he's janking the steering wheel left and right a little bit here. Ooh, really wide. Ooh, takes the really long pit entrance. Okay, he's definitely got damage, and he's coming to the pits now. Okay, so S7 in the pits do that damage, that little spin, half spin, and then Mr. Big Otter had nowhere to go and ended up ramming into him. So there you go. That settles that. So Mr. Big Otter in the end does take the lead in GT3. We'll stay on board here with S7 and see how long this takes. Lap 15 to 35, so not too far off strategy from halfway if that's what you're trying to do. There goes Oversea Black Ghost coming through. Alright, there goes myself, Oversea Speedy Jab, coming through right now. So he was in the pits quite a bit and lost a lot of ground. So let's see how he can make up with that now that this car is fully repaired. Let's see. Okay, Black Ghost in the pits. Actually, that's who we're seeing right now in the GMG Porsche. In the pits, there goes one of the LMP runners. Who's that? McCormick in 5th place there. He just goes by. So getting his car fixed here. Sorry. Let's see what we got as far as. Oh, there he goes, coming out of the pits now. Let's go to a trackside shot again, and let's check out some of the. Let's look at the tightest gap right now is going to be Stollard and Lucky Mouse. So they've been battling for the last 17 laps now. 30 minutes into this race, and it's been a seesaw battle between these guys. Let's see how it ends up here. Let's see some of the other gaps here. We've got big gaps pretty much everywhere else. So everybody else is really spread out right now. You can see from Stollard to Lucky Mouse right now it's 12 seconds. So, to Camaro Ace. Stollard to Camaro Ace. It's 16, 17 seconds. So that just ballooned up pretty. 19 seconds. He must be in the pits. And now Respect the Dawn. Oh, but we saw this before. Remember, it was like glitching depending on who I was watching, which is kind of weird. Now we're back on Stollard again. Oh, yeah, you can see the fog actually rolling in right now. So let's see what that does for the guys. If that throws a monkey wrench in. We're actually having the leader in LMP coming up on Black Ghost right now. So let's see that. And he's already cleared him there. Black Ghost moved over, or stayed over to the pinched off that corner and let him take the inside. And now we've got Stollard, same thing. Black Ghost stays wide, and Stollard comes around the inside there. And the fog really now making a big difference as far as we can see. But for competitor-wise, here, let's take a look at it. You can see on board, we'll go back to a cockpit view. Or a chase cam. You see the sun shining through the fog right there. So nothing too bad. There's a cockpit view, getting a little hazy. But you can still make out your brake points. You can still make your turn-ins, exits, everything like that. So you can flat through here. Oh, you see a big old skid mark there on the right side there. Somebody went into the inside pit wall there. And who do we have in the pits right now? Somebody, yeah, there's McCormick. Okay, McCormick's in the pit right now. Taking his 4 tire mandatory pit stop. And Mr. Bigotar is still in the lead there in GT3. I'm not sure if he's taken his pit stop yet, but we'll see in a little bit here. So his gap now between myself now in second place is 18 seconds, 18.5 seconds. You can see there. So nice big gap between, and right on cue, Mr. Bigotar into the pits for his pit stop. Alright, so let's stay on, actually, let's go do a cinematic here. Alright, staying on board with Mr. Bigotar as he goes into the pits. Let's see if he hits his pit box right on, or slides right into that. And let's see how long he's stationary here. If we don't have a replay counter or clock. Actually, we kind of do with the real-time race there, or real-time ticker there, right below, and playback controls. So what did I think? It was roughly 35 seconds or something like that if you did all tires and stuff like that. So I'll have to see. Oh, there goes. We have, I think that's CMC in the pits there in that pink and black LMP2 car. Here comes, so Orsi Speedy Jab now has gone into the lead of the race, and S7 is coming right up, and S7 just passed him right now in the pits. And there you go. See him going into turn 1 right there. So there's the gap. So S7 had some damage. I had some damage. Mr. Bigotar looks like his car has a little bit of damage on the right side of that front. Oh, actually, remember that damage that he hit S7. I think we mentioned it before, but the damage doesn't totally sync or desync every time you go into the pits and even fix it and all that. So that's just what that is, a legacy kind of issue from that hit. So there you go. So now you have a 7.2 second to this guy right here, Mr. S7. So is that IR Chief S7? S7? You'll have to get in the comments. I don't know if we mentioned that before. I think it is, but you have to tell me what that means. And then myself here in first place now in GT3. And we've got McCormick here in 5th place in the yellow LMP2 car. CMC is in 4th place in LMP2. Camaro Ace in 3rd place. And then Stollard, 1.4 seconds off the lead here, just past Lucky, or Mr. Bigotar there. And there's Lucky Mouse still in the lead, holding it down tight. Like I said, these guys have been going back and forth. It's been a good battle to watch. And unfortunate for that spin for Stollard after he got in the lead. But Lucky Mouse has capitalized on that and stayed in front. So let's see if this continues there. A little shake from the camera. You got some blue dots up ahead there, some back markers that we're going to have to go through when we watch this. Let's check out some of the other track cameras that you guys like. So let's see, here's an onboard, very, very front. So that's more of a hood. I wonder what the difference between the hood. Nothing. Onboard and hood or this. Oh, now it changed. Now it changed again. Interesting. Oh, there you go. Now on board, Lucky Mouse into the pits for his mandatory pit stop. So let's see if Stollard follows. Sometimes, yeah, he does. He's right behind him. So sometimes that's a big, big issue. What you'll do is just, if you're unsure about your strategy, or if you just want to make sure that you stay with a strategy and don't go for an undercut or overcut, you could just go exactly when the leader goes, and then takes a little guesswork out of everything. So Stollard now right behind. Looks like he made up a tiny bit of room or space in the pit stop. I don't know what that lightning happening behind. I don't know what's happening with that. Getting some lighting issues here. Not sure what that is. This is a replay thing, but see, these guys are stationary now. And Lucky Mouse still retains his first place. Let's see what Camaro Ace can do in third place there. So Lucky and Stollard coming out exactly the same time here. So again, let's stay on board with, and let's go to, oops. Yeah, there's the gap right there. Let's go to Cockpit Cam here. Look at Camaro Ace is still down, but caught up a lot. So he's 7 seconds closing. The guys just changed tires, so their tires won't be up to temperature quite yet and up to pressure. So that's going to be the big issue is can Camaro Ace close down that much time while these guys are getting their tires heated up? And it feels comfortable, but it's just a little bit of uncomfortableness. And there's that wide entry again between Lucky Mouse. Let's see if he goes defensive here. Stollard looking. No, he's just going to stay behind and just take his normal race line. Let Lucky take his race line. And this could be another thing too where they're thinking about, and there's some tire barrels got moved. This is a thing, or tire bundles. This is a thing that often happens too, is that Stollard may realize that he's not up to pressure yet and can't really 100% push the car with confidence. So he may just relax back, realizing what the situation is and just follow Lucky Mouse, until Lucky Mouse makes a mistake or until he feels confident that he could get him under brakes and outbrake him and something like that. And hopefully, it's not through a big mistake as these guys come up to traffic right now. There's McCormick and LMP2, so he must have had something happen with damage or something like that, because he's going to get a lap put on him by the leaders. And we've got a GT runner up there, Black Ghost it looks like, in the Porsche. So yeah, this is hotting up really nice towards the end here between these guys. And into the back of McCormick. Okay, that was a little interesting. Did McCormick brake early? Was he leaving the inside open? I don't know what happened, but Lucky now losing the lead and back behind. McCormick moves over as Stollard now into the lead. Go for the inside of Black Ghost. Nice deep into that corner. So actually, let's we're going to go and rewind that. Let's see if I can let's get to a chase on that one, and let's pause that for a second. Let's go on board with Lucky Mouse here. So I actually don't know what the proper braking point is in these LMP2s, but the GT3s, for example, is when the rumble strip on the right side, candy stripe starts on there. So on the right side, you'll see there's a 200 board ahead there we can see. But when the rumble strip starts, we pretty much go like right there or just a tiny bit afterwards. So let's see where the LMP2s brake. And I think, yeah, it looks like Lucky Mouse just mistimed that a little bit, and it actually looked like McCormick had a slight lockup, which threw him off. And then, Lucky Mouse with a slight swerve there, just trying to get everything gathered back up. So he's got some damage there. And then we see, again, we see Stollard sliding through, and McCormick just standing on the inside there. Black Ghost giving him tons of room, tons of space. McCormick gets on the curb and makes a mistake and almost comes over to him and says hello. Black Ghost very rare again, stays to the left side, just well out of the way of these guys. So now we've got a gap of 2 seconds to Stollard. So I think it was just an issue of the closing speed, a slight touch of brakes, and just an unfortunate part of trying to occupy the track at the same time, trying to get past them, where that mistake was made. But yeah, unfortunate. Lucky Mouse losing the lead after that, and Stollard now in first place. And maybe because of legacy of that damage, he's starting to pull off a little bit here. We've got a 2.5 second gap now already. Let's see if we got anything else developing on the left side there. Pretty big gaps pretty much from everybody else we're seeing as we scroll through these guys. Here's CMC coming up on the back of Mr. Big Otter. And woo, lots of space given. I mean, he's going to the racing line, but really, really soon to that racing line. So he brakes. Okay, right where the pavement gets a little dark, right? Basically, the rumble strip starts on the right. So here's McCormick here coming in. He's got a couple of cars around him. But those are all, looks like GT3 cars. Let's see, I've got now a 25-second gap on S7 somehow. I'm not sure how that totally developed. I think there might have been, if I remember correctly, there was an accident. It might have already, I think it already happened. There was an accident where S7 had spun out in that same corner, and I had hit him actually, so I have damage in the car now. But it's one of those things where you just have to manage and mitigate that damage and just keep going, because you can't make another pit stop. Again, that's another 35 second stop, and that's not even including the actual damage, that you have to fix and stuff. So if you want to lose a race, definitely can go through the pits twice or more than twice. So yeah, 25 seconds. S7 dropping back into the clutches now. So I'm curious to see if Mr. Big Otter now is going to come up on this and capitalize on that damage, or on S7 being so far behind. You can see he's got 6.3 seconds. You can't see him yet, and that's what 6.1 seconds now looks like around these twisty bits. So maybe you'll see him now. Nope, still too far away, and there's that low part. It goes down, drops down. See him around the corner? Nope, he just disappears right around that Armco right there. We might be able to see him here as he passes somebody. All right, Mr. Big Otter trying to make up that time. 5.5 seconds, so he is gaining. There you go. Now you can see it with their Stollard, the leader, coming through in LMP 2, closely followed by Lucky, 2.2 seconds behind him. So let's see how he manages this one. Really wide on that one, and then staying to the right. I think just understanding that Lucky Mouse is there, yeah, I get him tons of space just in case. Somebody in the pits too. Who was that? Oh, that's myself. Overseas Speedy Jab coming out of the pits. I don't recall pitting twice in this race. It's not my only pit. I don't remember. But anyway, I'm right in the back of Mr. Big Otter now. That might have been my only pit. Yeah, now I'm confused. This race was, to be fair, a couple weeks ago, and yeah, we've had another races before that, and different strategies and stuff like that. So now we've got myself. We've got S7 in the lead in GT3. We've got Mr. Big Otter here in second place, and we've got myself in third place, and Horsey Black Ghost in fourth place. There's the LMP now in between us. Let's see who that is once they come through. There you go. That's Camaro Ace on the white car coming through. Let's see if that closes us up a little bit. 1.3 seconds, and we're 2.8 seconds off of S7. So maybe that accident hadn't happened yet, or maybe it's going to happen soon. To be fair, like I said, I don't recall anymore. This has been an exciting race, though. We've had a really good battle in LMP2, and really a few back and forths with some slight incidents that have happened in GT3. So it's been a good race. Hopefully you guys are enjoying it here. So again, if you guys are part of the community, part of the race, S7 and Lucky Mouse, Stollard, all those guys, please leave a comment. Let me know what happened in your race. How'd you guys feel about it? What was the crazy part of the race? Anything nuts happen? But just for engagement, get everybody involved, and that way the viewers, if they do find this and do come across comments, they have a little context of what happened in the race from you guys, the actual racers. So there you go. S7 clearly slowed down by some kind of damage or something. 2 seconds now, 1.9 seconds. Power is still there, so on the straightaway you're not going to catch them, but I think in the corners here, I think is where we're going to get them. So now we've got 7 minutes left in the race. We've got a huge 1-2-3 battle in GT3 right now. So that is a huge major development in the last couple laps. So I'm 9-10 seconds. You can see there now behind him. We'll keep that up a little bit here. And maybe let's go back to cinematic cameras here. That way we can see this shot here where we see all three of us in the same frame. And then if we want to see gaps, we'll just press on that. So see, the map is really out of whack until you do that. Super foggy. S7 now coming into this tight right-hander. Mr. Big Otter behind him, coming to that really snug stadium section here. And all three of us right here within, what are we all within? I mean, I'm 8 tenths behind. He's 3 seconds. So, I mean, a little over a second, 1.4 seconds, something like that. Covering all three, the top three in GT3 after 45 minutes of racing. We got 6 minutes left on the replay, and it all comes down to this for the last part of the race. So amazing stuff. So let's see what happens here as we funnel down into that hairpin. And the car does get unbalanced here. I see, you know, I lost it here. S7 lost it here. I'm trying to think, Stollard and I think somebody else, one of the LMP guys, lost it here. So that that corner right there is pretty infamous for just unbalancing the car. Look how close Mr. Big Otter closes now on him. So you're going to make him move up the hill. S7 stays tight, stays defensive on that line. And now he moves over to take the racing line. Is Big Otter going to send it? Not this time, he's not going to send it. Are a little bit wide from S7. Is that going to give Otter a cutback? He tried. He looks up the inside. Oh, a little bit. And then S7 gets fired off. That's right. Okay, I do remember this. So, one thing we always pride ourselves on is the gentleman rules of racing. So, if you're not familiar with that, in virtual racing, what we want to do is if we do make a mistake, I mean, that was a valiant try from Mr. Big Otter. Now, whether S7 didn't see him or not, who knows? So right here what we do is I tell the boys, hey, guys, you know, that was a little bit of contact on you, Otter. Let's just go ahead and let's give the place back to S7. So we'll have S7 come in the lead. Mr. Big Otter will be next, and I'll be third. And then we'll continue the battle again. Now, the reason we do that, obviously, is because we're all here to have fun, have a good time, you know, practice racecraft, and just, you know, get out of our daily lives and jobs and families and everything else we're doing. And this is our outlet. So last thing we want to do is lose the race, or last thing I would want to do, personally, if I was in a situation, I made that mistake, maybe I'll break myself, and maybe it turned in. I mean, we don't know at this point. But what it looked like, it was a fairly aggressive move from Mr. Big Otter, and it looked like S7 was taking his normal race line, maybe already committed, and clipped the back end of S7's car there and sent him into a spin. So now we've redressed that issue. We're all line astern again. S7 in the lead, Big Otter in second, and myself in third. And now we'll just race on from there. So you see we got 4 minutes left in this race. Stollard is in the lead by 3 seconds. And then we have 14 seconds, a minute 57 to leader. These are all to leader times if you're looking on the left side, by the way. 6 minutes, 15 seconds. Minutes 33 seconds, 6 minutes 45 seconds back to the full field. So yeah, 3 minutes left now, and it's coming down to this, to the last laps after almost 50 minutes of racing. So really curious to see how this one pans out. I'm sure you guys are too. So S7, I don't know if you got fired into the wall or if you went all the way to wall. S7, again, you'll have to comment and let us know on that accident with you and Big Otter. And you can see the skid marks there going straight across. Big Otter, though, back on it again. Really clean racer. That wasn't anything bad that he did or anything like that. So hard on the brakes and lets him take that line. All right, here we go. It's coming down to it. And I think we got to stay on board with this battle because the other battles looks like, unless a huge mistake happens, are pretty much done. It looks like Stoller's going to come home in the lead. Lucky Mouse in second. Camaro's in third. CMC fourth. And then IRC, CH, S7 is going to be in fifth place overall and first place in GT3 right now. And actually, you can see we just had a change right there. Mr. Big Otter and S7 are side by side with myself right behind them. See what happens here. S7 goes a little bit narrow. Try to take a more defensive line. Let's see if Otter gets on the inside of him. He does not. And it looks like Otter's searching for that cutback, I think. Getting a nice wide line in and then taking a tighter line out. If S7 is being defensive, that's going to slow us down a little bit. And he can take a wider line. You can see the car is actually showing all that dirt and grime from racing after almost an hour. Looks like I do a little feint there to Mr. Big Otter. Show him I'm in his mirrors. And let's see what happens here. Right down the hairpin one more time. S7 up on the curb. line of stern still. Nobody's changed positions yet. Actually, there's slow little uphill chicane. And here we go. Let's see if the power of the GTR keeps up with the Huracan. Looks like Mr. Big Otter is getting himself alongside, really close. I thought he was going to hit the back of him there. All right, coming around for one more lap. Let's see, what do we got on time? Oops, not that one. 1 minute left in the replay. So I'm not sure we're going to get the whole part of this replay. It cut off for some reason. S7 going super defensive on the inside of turn 1. Mr. Big Otter is going to try to hang it on the outside here. That's a bold move, but that invites me up on the inside. So now it's 2 Nissans. Looks like, let's see. No, Mr. Big Otter stays in front, actually. Holds that outside line and able to stay in front of me. All right, this has come down to it. S7 taking very defensive lines here, trying to make sure that he stays in front of Mr. Big Otter. Let's see what time we got. 23 seconds left, so it's not going to capture the whole thing. So we'll watch this to the end, and then I'll give you a quick recap of where the finishing positions were. So we can kind of see them up on the top there, but that's actually not how everybody finished. So I think there was about, it looks like it missed about 8 minutes of racing. So yeah, we're down 6, 5, 4, 3. So that's going to be it for the replay here as it closes out and fades to black there. It goes back to the screen. So I'll tell you how that one finished out. So we had an LMP 2. We had Stollard finish in first place. And then we had Lucky Mouse finish in second place. And Camaro Ace in third. So that didn't change from anything. But what did change was the running in a GT3 order. In a GT3 order, we had myself take the win over Mr. Big Otter. And then we had S7 come in third place. So that was that issue I told you about where S7 had lost it again. In that corner spun, I'd hit him, and then we finished that way. And then from there, we had Orsi Black Ghost in fourth position, and then we had Don, as we saw there in the first 2 laps, quit out. He finished in fourth place. So the next race we're going to be... so it looks like actually, we did have an issue with round 4 with the recording. So Long Beach, unfortunately, we did not get coverage of that one. So what I do have is the Watkins Glen one from the 29th of November. So I'm going to go and upload that in a little bit and do some commentary for that one. But if you guys enjoyed this, please leave a like. Share with some of your friends if you like good racing. If you like some of the action, come and join us. You can check out our website at onlineracing.wixsite.com. It's also, I'll post the information in the description down there, and let us know how the racing was for you guys. And if you guys want to join, feel free. We're doing, this is on PlayStation 4, so we're doing Project Cars 2 on PlayStation 4 on Monday nights. 8 p.m. Eastern is our practice start time. So if you guys enjoyed that and want to get involved, come and join us. Thanks again for joining and for sticking around, and we'll see you at the next round.